Starting your first business can be exciting, but it can also be full of challenges that many people are not prepared for. So whether you are starting side hustle or solo venture or starting your first online business, there are a few things that you should know before you start out. And in this video, I'm going to cover a few of those. Things that are going to help you avoid common pitfalls that so many people fall into. First one is you have to get clear on why you're starting the business in the first place. A lot of people tend to think this is not important. Why should I get clear? With clarity comes this sense of understanding of how you want to position yourself, understanding of what you want your business to represent, understanding of how you want to represent yourself as well. Without you having clarity, you will fumble the ball so many times that you will end up giving up, because so many people in the beginning don't have clarity. So many people in the beginning don't know why they're doing it, and often they've got the wrong reasons for doing this. What I mean by this is there's the right reason and there's the wrong reason. The wrong reason could be, I want to make money. Not saying that making money online is a bad thing or making money in general is a bad thing. But if you're only focused on making money, you're going to fail, because money should never be the main goal. It should always be the end goal. So a right reason is, I want to be financially free. I want time freedom. I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to pay my rent. There's more of a motivation towards it because it's centered on an emotional trigger. The financial freedom of not having to always constantly struggle or think about money compared to you just wanting money. The emotional trigger of wanting to take care of your family pushes you to actually make sure that you make your business successful. Without clarity, it's difficult for you to set yourself up for success. And that's why so many people tend to fail, because they're not clear on why they're starting it. They're not clear on what their business is, and they're not clear on why they're doing it in the first place. One thing that a lot of people fail to realize is it's going to take longer than you think. Now, I remember watching videos of saying, oh, in 6 months, you have your business and you'll be making money. And yeah, there are people who within 6 months they do that. But the truth is, if you were to scroll back, you would find out that they probably have been doing it for 3 years. And it's only in that 6 months that they got clarity of where they wanted to go. And then that helped them elevate themselves. Or they were thinking about starting a business, in a period of 3 to 5 years. And only now are they ready to do it. Or another thing is, maybe they didn't have the knowledge to make their business successful. And so they paid for a course that gave them that knowledge. And within that 6 months, that's why they've grown so rapidly. Not a lot of people tell you that it takes time. It's not an immediate thing. Rome was not built in a day. Like, just because you want to start a business today, just because you have the motivation and the passion for it, doesn't mean by tomorrow you're going to be making money from it. It takes time. A lot of these things take time. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes understanding why you're doing it. It takes the motivation to get up even when you feel like not getting up. The things I heard a while ago was from Vanessa Lau. She said that when she wanted to be a millionaire, she started thinking, like, what would a millionaire do? And she started acting like that before she became a millionaire. Now, I would say the same thing. There has to be a shift between your employee mindset to your employer mindset, because those mindsets are completely different. An employee mindset waits for opportunities. An employer mindset chases after opportunities. Two different things, two different ball games, two different fields. Okay. Now let's go to the third point. The third point is you got to start small and test and learn. There's no such thing as you're going to get something completely right off the bat. That does not work. That does not happen. Often everything takes time. It takes dedication. It takes patience. It takes you working at it. That's why it's always good to start small and test and learn. And so when you make mistakes, you learn from them. And then you test and you keep testing. And you keep figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And you keep trying to figure out how to place this and how to place that. And the more you do this, the better you are for it. And the better you are for it, the faster you grow from it. The next point is all about, you gotta be wise when it comes to money management. When I was starting out, I was paying for anything that a guru told me to pay for. Pay for this program, pay for that program, pay for this tool, pay for that tool. And I kept doing that, but then I realized that I was bleeding money instead of earning money. And often that's what a lot of people do. They spend way too much money in the beginning. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but you gotta look at your finances and see if they balance or not. Because then you're gonna add pressure to your life if you pay for something that you cannot afford right now. So it's always good to save up the money and then easily work your way through it, okay? That's why money management is so important for you to have a basic understanding of it, because it makes life so much easier for you if you understand how it works, if you understand how to budget, if you understand how to save, if you understand how to balance your balance sheet. Yes, we all know that balance sheets don't really balance, but still, your finances sort of like have to work out and balance so that you're not in the red. Okay, another one is you got to get comfortable with failure and adjustment. Failure is a part of the process. You got to fail in order for you to succeed. Most people who are successful have failed numerous times. When we look at people like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these big time people, all of them have failed at one point in their life. Why? Because failure is necessary to push the needle forward. Because it's only through failure do you understand where you went wrong. It's only through failure that you understand how to correct yourself. It's only through failure that you realize that, okay, I need to work on this, and this. Without failure, it's difficult for you to change and course correct and adjust certain things. So you got to get comfortable with the idea of failure so that when you fail, it doesn't sting as much and it's easier for you to move on from that. And another thing is you don't need to know everything before you start. We've got this weird belief that who's going to listen to me if I'm just starting out? Who's going to listen to me if I don't have hundreds and hundreds of followers? Who's going to listen to me if I'm not a big time personality? But here's the thing though, often what we know is enough to get us through or enough to get us by, because someone would relate more to your advice when you're starting out than a big time person. So it all comes down to the fact that you don't need to know everything. And as you're learning and as you're growing, you keep on learning and you keep on evolving and you keep on changing. There's no such thing as a person is the same 365 days of the year. People are always changing. It might take them a few weeks, it might take them a few months, it might take them a few years, especially for people who are of the entrepreneurship mindset, because we're taught to evolve, we're taught to develop, we're taught to keep on learning and keep on changing, keep on adjusting. And that's the thing. So always remember that. Today might be different to tomorrow. Okay, so next two. You gotta network. Networking is important. Networking basically means just forming relationships, whether it's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. Networking also means finding people who you could relate to and people who are doing the same things you're doing, or people who are moving in a direction you want to move in. You are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. You are the average of the 5 incomes that you spend your time with. So it's always important for you to have people who might not have the same incomes or might not be in the same income bracket as you, who want to change or who are higher than you. Because there's always that motivator that I'm motivated to get to their level, or I'm motivated to work like what they're working. I'm motivated to keep on moving and keep on going. Now the last one is it's all about keeping the momentum and being consistent. Now I won't lie, consistency is something that I always have to tell myself, because it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to develop, especially when you always have to focus on updating your social media accounts. So it all comes down to these little nits and bits. So you got to figure out, right, how all of them fit. But one thing I want you to remain with is that all of this takes time for it to settle down in your mind. It all takes time for you to focus on. It takes a lot of time, and it also requires you remembering that often not, all it takes is the first step in order for you to go in the right direction. Sometimes it's just the first step. Sometimes that's all you need in order for you to move ahead. Just the first step. So you look at all this list. Just focus on one per week. Focus on one per week. Implement it. Make sure that it becomes part of your rhetoric. And before you know it, you'll be moving at a different pace. You'll be moving at a different speed. You'll be moving with purpose.